Hi, let us understand how to add this entire project as a part of GitHub repository. We will be using the GitHub repository to store the initial stage of every demo as well as the final stage of the demo as a part of the GitHub, so that when you are trying out the demo, you can check out the code as an initial stage or as a final stage and you can do the demo very easily. I will be having a separate lecture on how to use the GitHub and the terminologies used within the GitHub. So this particular lecture is about how to add the project as a part of GitHub repository. Before pushing the code into the GitHub repository, we need to have our local Git repository. Let me go ahead and create the local Git repository, and Eclipse Enterprise version is having built-in eGit. Let me open the perspective of the eGit or the window required for the repository. Let me open the view Git repositories. Let me go ahead and create a new repository. I'm creating a new repository within my account. Let me have the name as Tomcat Servlet JSP course. Let me have it as a public repository. Say create a repository. The repository would get created and that will provide me the URL so that I can use that specific URL within my Eclipse. So within Eclipse, I'm going to create a local repository first. Let me have the location of the local repository as this, say create. Now I need to add the project as a part of the local repository first. So within team menu, I'll get into share project where I will select the repository and the code will get added into the repository location. Say finish. Now the code is added as a part of the repository, and Eclipse automatically it identifies what are all the files not yet staged. That means the files which are ready to stage or add it into the GitHub repository. Let me stage them and let me provide the commit message and say commit. I do have both the options. Either I can say commit or I can say commit and push it into the remote repository. If I say commit, it will get committed only to the local repository. If I say commit and push, it will get committed into the local repository and it will get pushed into the remote repository as well. Let me copy the remote repository URL. I do have the user ID and password already stored as a part of the secure store of Eclipse. So it got populated automatically, or otherwise I need to provide my GitHub user ID and password. Let me say next, and the master will get pushed into the remote repository. Next, and the push happened into the remote repository as well. Now I can verify the remote repository also, where I do have that project Tomcat first demo got added into the remote repository. That is one single branch I do have, that is master. So in a quick summary, what we have done, we have created a local repository and added the project as a part of the local repository and pushed the content from the local repository to the remote repository available as a part of GitHub.